Miguel Cabrera was actually super animated about, hey, you have to protect your teammates when Michael Fulmer retaliated.
Wait a minute, here we go.
Oh, here we go at home. Romine and Cabrera get into it. Punches thrown, Romine getting into the gut of Cabrera, and now both benches are cleared as Romine and Cabrera at the bottom of a pile, and both teams storming for them at home plate. Clint Frazier is holding back Gary Sanchez trying to get in on it. And Cabrera's still down.
This is not your ordinary best. So there was some severe punching in there. Usually it's a lot of pushing and shoving, but they got some good shots in.
Just as we were talking about how it was Cabrera who instructed and applauded Fulmer for retaliating, hitting Ellsbury at Yankee Stadium, he's the one who canely threw out here, and he and Romine got into it and fired off quite a few punches at each other before both benches cleared entirely.
You know, I don't know if this umpiring crew was aware of what happened in New York, but I think Joe Girardi was very correct when he said, why did you throw out warnings after Sanchez was hit? None of this would have happened. When everything seemed to calm down, Cabrera and Romine had a few words, and it escalated when Cabrera pushed Romine at home plate. And once that, there was nobody around the two, just those two, and then things started to really heat up. And you can see Romine's brother. Well, if they start throwing, it's going to be serious if they start throwing punches at each other.
Here was Cabrera saying something to Romine, and then Romine going back at him. He'd had enough, and there goes the shove, and then Cabrera missed. Romine tackled him and got into the gut of Cabrera and fired off a couple punches. You saw Didi get pushed to the bottom of the pile. Judge was trying to get in there, and then Gardner came from behind to tackle. Torreyes was trying to find somebody to grab. This was after the ball whizzed by Cabrera, and you could see a few words were exchanged before Joe Girardi came running out of the dugout and got kicked out.
I think Romine was trying to say we weren't trying to hit you. But in a way, if I'm a hitter, I'm not buying that at all.
And Romine says, I'm not going to take it. And Cabrera goes with a shove, a little slap. Romine tackles Cabrera and gets into the gut with a couple punches before the scrum gets sloppy at home plate.
Oh, nice underneath move there.
Bam.
Oh, he got one in.
I think he got two. And then kept going after him before the rest of the Yankees got in there. It all started because of that man, Michael Fulmer, who drilled Gary Sanchez after he hit a home run.
You know, and that's where the warning should have been.
So this is right before the fight. And you see Didi going in to talk with Chapman. Cabrera and Romine getting into it. No one really paying attention to them. And then all of a sudden, it's on. And Chapman and Didi go darting in. His bodies fly everywhere. You saw Robbie Thompson get in there trying to keep people away.
And there's Chapman. He's trying to play peacekeeper.
You saw Clint Frazier actually hug Gary Sanchez and pull him away from the pile. Larry Rothschild took a tumble.
Yeah, you don't want to be underneath. That was Tyler Austin.
Now Chapman will warm up again as Sanchez comes in to catch.
And now there's no DH. That means a pitcher's going to have to hit, which is another disadvantage for the Yankees over the last 3 innings here.
Well, it was a 32-minute bottom of the fifth in which Detroit scored 4 runs on 49 pitches from 3 different Yankee pitchers. And it has been a sensationally long bottom of the 6th, but only because of retaliation and fireworks. Now on the right side of your screen here, you're going to see Gary Sanchez come in. And Sanchez is in, and he throws a punch as well.
I can tell you, the league's going to go over this video and see which players were the most aggressive. Now we're going to have a pinch hitter for Cabrera, of course, who's out of the game.
So Dixon Machado in for Cabrera on a 1-0 count. As Chapman finally gets to throw. There was a long delay deciding who was going to come in after Tommy Kahnle got ejected. Then Chapman finally started warming up out in the pen, came to the mound, and just as he was ready, all of that happened as Machado singles up the middle. No, Ken, there are a lot of those sort of everybody runs and looks at each other and shouts some things.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't it. And now Sanchez is chatting with Castellanos.
So now Gary Sanchez has got 3 homers in 3 days, and Fulmer hits him on purpose. It's further inside than the ball that missed Cabrera. So no warning, right?
I respect Gary Sanchez. I really do. And I would never throw at anybody that hit a home run off of me just because they hit a home run.
So then Kahnle throws one inside, and Cabrera doesn't get hit, and you throw him out of the game. So now they're judging intent. Well, if you can't see that Fulmer clearly hits Sanchez on purpose, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fight. I understand that. But I'm not going to let someone try and throw punches at me. I'm going to defend myself. You know, it was a little odd, I thought, that I got thrown out for defending myself. But again, I think he was looking for a confrontation, coming up to me and walking straight towards me. So,
I mean, first of all, when they throw at me, it was okay. I got good. They wanna defend Gary Sanchez, so I was cool with that. So when they started arguing with umpire, I said to Roman, "Calm down," and he said, "I don't talk to you."
Bueno, yo cuando estaba en el logado, que vi que pasó la cosa, que vi que Miggy empujó a...
You know, everything happened pretty quick. You know, I was in the dugout, I looked up, and I see Roman rolling on the floor with the other guys, you know, and at that moment, just instinct takes over because you want to defend your teammate. You know, that's your family out there. And I don't know, everything happened so quickly, it's a blur right now.
I know Fulmer did not. It looked bad because Sanchez hit the ball so well, but Fulmer wasn't trying to hit Sanchez. He had that numbness in his finger. He got a zinger when he threw the pitch, and he just lost it and went into it.
You guys have, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation as volatile as this, but Burnsy, starting with you, what did you make of what you saw between these two teams this afternoon?
Well, we had the luxury to go into the edit bay right away and try to figure out exactly what happened. Now, understand this. This goes all the way back to Yankee Stadium. And, you know, here's Mikey Montek wearing it right there. And then the next night he gets hit in the head. And, again, I don't think either one of those were intentional. But at some point, you need to protect your players. So, you know, here we are. And this is Gary Sanchez absolutely going off, doing his thing against the Detroit Tigers. Well, Michael Fulmer throws one inside. And, you know, you have to understand the Yankees' perspective on this. You're going to hit my guy's raking, we're going to go after your best guy. Gary Sanchez is our best guy right now, we're going to go after your best guy. So you think that everything was calm right here. And again, this was rushed to judgment by the umpire for even throwing him out just because no issues were warning at the no warnings were issued at the point. Now, this is what Austin Romine said. He said he comes up and said, "You got a problem with me?" He said, "No, just get out of my face. Leave me alone." "Oh yeah, you got a problem with me?" "Oh yeah, maybe I do." Well, here we go. Now it's on. Now you get a little push, you get a swing and a miss, and then you get Austin Romine that takes him down. All of a sudden, you see Nick Castellanos right there. This is really interesting because take a look. This is where we see Gary Sanchez for the first time. Ready? Threw 2 blows in that one. Now, we're just going to take a look at Brett Gardner and what he's doing. Now, he takes McKenna. I mentioned the body slam earlier and what was going on with him. But let's go ahead and take a look at Gary Sanchez again because he was pulled off the pile. That's not Miguel Cabrera anymore. That was Nick Castellanos. So he went in for round 2 when he was down. Now Nick Castellanos comes up and says, "What's up now? You serious with that? You gonna cheat shot me?" Well, he's still in the game, still playing. The umpires weren't able to have the video like we all did or whatever else. Drives in a big run, makes the game 6-6. And then here comes McCann. Now McCann gets hit in the head. He's like, "Dude, are you serious with this? I mean, come on. What are you doing? I don't care if it's intentional or not intentional. I just got plunked in the head with 98. But I'm going to fire up. I'm going to get up right away." And then now here's Todd Frazier. What? What is this? You're going to come back at Frazier? I have no problem if you want to come back and hit somebody. Why Frazier at that point? Why would you go after the guy, like I said before, that was playing pepper with your dude's face?
Watson home with a 1-1 pitch that Puig fouls back. His reaction tells you he thinks he had one to hit there.
It was a high breaking ball that was kind of up and flat.
Puig and Hundley coming together. Hundley shoves him. Puig returns the blow, and the bench is clear. Now it's George Lombard and Nick Hundley. Bob Guerin restraining Yasiel Puig. The bullpens have joined the picture. Hunter Pence, Ty Block restraining Hundley. We were in replay when it all began, but it seemed harmless to begin as Puig turned to face Hundley and exchange words for exchanging shoves. Yasiel recounted the conversation to turn award Bob Guerin.
Yasiel gets upset with himself when he misses a pitch, and he's a little bit animated, but it's nothing offensive to the opposing team. It's just, he's just upset with himself.
We're still waiting for the rulings on any potential ejections here. So Hundley started the conversation. And Hundley, it was actually Puig that delivered the first push.
He's a hard man to stop if he wants to go somewhere.
George Lombard did his best to
One and two. Hundley say something to him?
Well, he didn't like the way he slapped at the bat. And that right there is going to get Puig kicked out. And here we go. This time of year, that's going to cost some time. And Puig still wants in the fray. He didn't realize he's going to get suspended at least 5 days, possibly, on this. And now the umpires have to decide how they're going to rule on this and who's going to stay and who's going to play and who's not. Hunter Pence came from out of nowhere.
Yeah, Pence came out to try to protect Hundley. Somebody had Hundley on the ground.
Puig reacted when he fouled that breaking ball off. He slapped at the bat. Hundley said something.
Well,
he's
been doing it the whole series. He did it a bunch of times with Bumgarner yesterday. And Bumgarner did a lot just to ignore him.
And right here is where he pulls the trigger. And that punch right there, that started it. I think it was Machado who was on Hundley, and it may have been.
Yeah, it's a coach.
Could have been George Lombard.
And
right
here's where Hunter
Lombard,
Pence comes
and
in.
that's where Hunter Pence cleans off Lombard. And Lombard, I mean, he's not trying to deliver a blow, but Pence doesn't know that. So he's trying to pick Huntley up and protect him. Coaches are not threats. They're trying to break it up.
Rain continuing to fall here at Camden Yards. Hit him in the helmet. Well, let's hope he's okay. He gets right up. How about that?
I think Clay Holmes was walking in to see if he was okay. Nobody tries to throw up around the head. It looked like it was just a fastball that got away.
Also looked like Brandon Hyde didn't want anybody coming to see if he's okay. You can see Kerstad wants to stay in. But that's scary, Jeff.
It is. You never want to have anything come up around a player's head if you're a pitcher.
Got him right on the flat.
I'm square on that helmet.
Now they are going to take him out of the game. And now Hyde is yelling toward the Yankee dugout. Now he's going up against Wells. And now both benches are going to empty. Two frustrated teams letting it all hang out here at Camden Yards. And there are some punches being thrown. Now they're coming in from the bullpen. You can see that Hyde did not want them checking on his player.
Well, they have a little history from the time in the Bronx. Judge and Henderson getting hit. You wondering if it was going to carry over here at Camden Yards in Baltimore.
There was definitely some pushing. We saw some arms flailing in there. They're really packed together tightly just to the left of home plate. And everybody from both teams there.
Well, there's no way that Clay Holmes was trying to go up and in and hit a player here in the bottom of the ninth, especially in the head. It's a safe situation, so you don't want that. I think the Orioles a little frustrated, probably carries back to Yankee Stadium.
Well, that was definitely escalated, Jeff, by the manager of the Orioles. That team is frustrating, almost not scoring any runs in a sweep by the Cubs. Yankees are frustrated with their struggles over the last 25 games, and you just saw it spill out.
Yeah, it's a big rivalry between these two clubs. The Orioles 2 games ahead right now.
He's pointing to somebody in the Yankee dugout. There's definitely some, that's not just your typical baseball dancing.
Let's bring back some good memories here, Michael.
whoever it is he's pointing at in the dugout. I'm not quite sure who he is screaming at.
Now it looks like Santander getting in there.
You can see right in there is Carlos Rodon as well. You certainly never advocate for something like this, Jeff, but sometimes something like this wakes a team up.
It does. It can fuel some really good energy going forward when you have a little melee and bench is clear.
I don't think it was Hyde pointing to Judge, but you can see he's saying something to Holmes there. Hyde said something to Holmes. And then the second base umpire, Jimenez, stood between Holmes and what was happening at home plate.
Well, you also see Wells shake his head a little bit, probably like, you got to be kidding me if we're going to try to go after someone and hit him in the head.
So a different angle to see who he is screaming at in the Yankee dugout. See if anybody gets thrown out of the game.
Well, Brandon Hyde definitely has to go, don't you think?
Well, that's what they're talking about right now. Lance Barksdale is with the home plate umpire, Will Little. And you can almost sense he's saying, well, they started it, as he keeps pointing to the Yankee dugout. Looks like Brandon Hyde is, in fact, going to get thrown out. Now, as a pitcher, do you get unnerved after all this is going on, Jeff?
Well, you try not to. You hope Clay Holmes doesn't. You obviously didn't mean to hit a player in the head, and I think I actually thought he was coming down just to see if he was okay, but it was probably when Brandon Hyde made a few gestures towards Holmes' way.
And you can see that Boone was trying to stop it, but he could not stop the guys coming out of the Yankee dugout. Verdugo's in there. Casey Dykes is in there. The whole bullpen jogging in.
And that's a long way to run, trust me.
Yes. Well, you were always at the front of the pack. You always seem to be in the front.
Well, the thing of it is you hope it continues because you have all that length to run.
Right.
And if it all of a sudden breaks up, you're like, we ran all that way for nothing.
Order has been restored. Now Mountcastle will dig in against Holmes. Hayes pinch running for Kerstad. Foul ball.
If you're Clay Holmes out there, this is
on the ground, first base, Hoskins flips to Uribe. 1 up, 1 down. Siri retired. Uribe and Siri exchanging some words, and here we go. Oh boy, that's not what you want to see. And here we go.
Joe Reddick at third base, 1 out. David Ortiz, the batter. 94 and inside. They're going to try to come in again. 2-0. Inside again, and Ortiz takes exception to this. Third time he's come in. All 3 have been fastballs, and the benches are going to empty.
Well, Ortiz has a pretty good idea what Greg's trying to do. The Red Sox just been bombing away. Well, the question is, would they throw David Ortiz out of the game for making a move toward the mound?
We're going to hand out warnings, which seems reasonable. 3-0 pitch. David lifts it in the air to shallow right. And Greg and Ortiz. Ortiz is going out, and it's time to fight. Greg said something to Ortiz as he popped out, wanted him to run, and then Ortiz ran right out at him.
Now watch Greg after the contact. Run down to first base. Run down to first base. Took a left, didn't he, David? Tried to come with a left uppercut. Greg started this right here when he said, run down the first base line, run down the first base, go down there. There's that left uppercut that just missed.
Well, they'll take Greg off. And Buck Showalter will head off with him. See what other ejections there'll be. Okay, we have confirmed that Saltalamacchia was ejected, and so was Ortiz.
From the back, and the relief pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles also walking out. So it's one from the bullpen for each side.
That's Jim Johnson, who has been ejected. What are they doing? Taking him off the field now.
Buck Showalter's taking his club off the field.
All right, here's the deal. He abandons third base to get involved in the fight. Because he abandoned third base, he's out.
He's out.
So that's out number 3 of the inning. That's your answer. Wow.
I was wondering what was taking so long.
So they have figured that out. So that's the end of the 8th. So the Red Sox will take the field here for the 9th. We'll take a break and come back for the 9th inning. It's 10-3.
Beltre ducks off a tough hop, and the throw is wide down the line, and there we got a fight at second. Bautista picked on the wrong guy as Odor came right at him, and we got the benches empty in that. There's some pent-up emotion going on out of Globe Life Park.
Well, Bautista got the worst of that exchange.
Well, the fans may have been waiting since last October, but it looks like the Rangers and Blue Jays were waiting since last October. There was some serious. You don't normally see that kind of fight at a major league game, but you did today.
Yeah, generally it's a lot of posturing. There was no posturing in that.
Nope, sure wasn't.
I'll tell you one thing, Rublev didn't waste any time getting a few swings in on Bautista either. Bautista might be hurt.
He could be. Rublev popped him real good.
Well, he picked the wrong guy to slide into second base hard on.
Yeah, Jeff Bannister right in the middle of things.
Yeah, that's still a volatile situation.
Yeah, yes, it is. I think they're going to call a double play for Bautista sliding beyond the bag and interfering with Odor's ability to make a double play. That's Lance Barrett, the third base umpire, talking to Bautista. All of a sudden, this ballpark is filled with electricity. Bannister still jawing at John Gibbons.
I guarantee you John Gibbons doesn't want any part of Bannister either.
And now DeMar O'Hale getting an explanation. Here's the close-up.
That's the kind of slide they're trying to eliminate.
Yep. And I think Odor, you saw Odor dropping down. Rudnev said, nope.
Whoa! I think Bautista got all he could handle with that.
Odor's now 2 for 5 today.
Wow. That's some pretty solid contact right there.
Yep. And going on the field after you've been ejected from a ball game during the ball game, I got to think that's going to be a pretty hefty fine on whatever, on top of whatever he's going to be fined.
Or a suspension.
Gibbons and Bannister continuing to go at it pretty well. So that is all taken care of. Jeff Bannister, a show of emotion as he walked back to the Ranger dugout after.
And did that get him? Yes, it did, as they tried to come up and in. So Derek Jeter is hit by a pitch.
Rob Drake is warning both sides.
That's ridiculous.
I don't understand that at all. Now Joe Girardi's going to come out and have an issue, as Joe Madden will as well.
And now Joe Girardi is pointing at Jeltz. Now that's got to be frustration. Why would Jeltz be hitting Derek Jeter there?
Joe clearly is frustrated from that, not getting a second look at that call on the tag up. But in no way did I think that he was throwing at Derek Jeter there. Hannigan setting up away.
You know, unless there's a history, why would home plate umpire Rob Drake immediately call warnings? I mean, I agree with you. To me, unless there's something that I don't know about here, I can't imagine a 6-1 game that he'd want to hit Derek Jeter. No.
Well, now Joe Madden is going to take Jeltz out of the game. And we'll call on a left-hander to face Brett Gardner. Frustration boiling over here. The call that they would not review. It could be that Joe Girardi actually protested the game to the umpires as well. In the previous inning, we have not had an official announcement yet. I don't know what that's going to do. And we'll step aside as tempers are flaring here in St. Pete. Stay tuned.
Well, after the little fracas.
There we go.
There we go. So that's it. David Phelps is now going to be thrown out. And dugouts emptying. The guys in the bullpen jogging in. And David Phelps and some of the Yankees are walking right toward the Tampa Bay players that are coming out.
Sean Rodriguez fired up.
Well, you could smell that coming. The frustration boiling over. Both sides warned.
You know, I just asked Al in between innings too, if a pitcher feels a responsibility that he's got to take care of this on his own.
Right.
When Jeter gets hit, and you just don't know what each individual pitcher is thinking when they go out there. Obviously, Phelps had something on his mind.
Why is Sean Rodriguez so fired up? Well, one thing you have to like from Phelps, he got thrown out of the game and didn't walk the other way. He walked right toward the Rays that were coming out of the dugout. Tony Pena, now the acting manager, as Joe Girardi is up the runway after being tossed. And now Tony Pena has to be thrown out too. When both benches are worn, the pitcher has to get thrown out and the manager or the acting manager has to get thrown out.
Well, there's a man who got hit in the chin by a lefty who throws about 98, so obviously he's got some opinions on the subject.
You know, whether, look, emotions play into this. Obviously, you get hit. I mean, we showed Chase Headley got hit in the chin. I mean, you talk. There's an aspect to the frustration, and we saw it with Girardi, 0.5. 5 times you got it. So you also have a pitching staff, even if it's not intentional. I didn't hit him. You have to have the ability to also, as a guy who can throw strikes or have an idea where he's throwing the ball, to not get your guys hit. And I've been on staffs where guys get, wild and they just can't control the ball. They end up hitting guys. Not because it's on purpose. It's got bad command.
Well, as David Huff warms up, we'll have plenty of time. We'll take a break. We'll come on back.
1-2. Whoa. So Puig is hit by the pitch. In watching what they're doing, it might have hit his nose. His eyes are watering. Ian Kennedy this year, wow, he has been a little wild. He's hit 7 batters. Well, the crowd sees him put the helmet on, and he goes to first. And did that hit him? I think it went behind him and hit him. Oh, wow. Don Baylor out there. Ian Kennedy. That's Kirk Gibson, who is really ticked off. Chicken. All right, all things reasonably quiet. The pens go back. Greinke, a good hitter, but he has grounded out and popped a bunt up. And he is hit. And I think Kennedy's thrown out of the game. Wow. Holy mackerel. And now they're liable to get angry after that. Uribe is mixing it up a little bit. He's in the middle. That's Belisario that went down on one knee. And now Mark McGwire and Kirk Gibson, and Matt Williams is trying to restrain Mark McGwire. And Matt Williams keeps saying no, no. And McGuire's getting hot. Don Baylor is right in the middle of things. And they're pushing Don away. Josh Beckett was restrained. It looked like he and Baylor were having some words. Now there's about a little more ready to erupt. Puig is right there. There is Puig hollering at anybody who'll listen, even those who won't. Remember, he was hit in the nose earlier. Now they're pulling Mark McGwire away. Now Williams kind of slapped Cruz on the back as if say, okay, get over it, let's calm down. But Ian Kennedy, I know, is thrown out of the game. He hits Greinke right on the helmet. All right, now what the umpires have to do is straighten it all out. Brad Ziegler is being called in. Miguel Montero back to work. Greinke, who is hit on the helmet, will go to first. And a roller to the hole. Nice pick and play to get a force. From Bloomquist to Gregorius, Greinke did his best to make sure there'd be no return throw to first. So the force play 4-6. Crowd applauding Greinke as he goes back to the dugout for the hard, legitimate slide. Gregorius doing well to straddle him and at the same time stay out of his way.
Three and two. And it hit him, wouldn't you know. Now he has something to say, and look out here. A.J. Ellis got out there just as Greinke and Quentin got together. Quentin continues to amaze as he consistently gets hit by pitches. It looks like the majority of the players are trying to be peacemakers. The trio of Greinke along with A.J. Ellis and Carlos Quentin. Now here come the Dodger bullpen contingent. Quentin being led away off to the left. And Matt Kemp is irate. Don't touch me, I think he said to Bud Black. Don't touch me, Matt Kemp keeps saying to Bud Black. So Quentin hit again. And a very hot Matt Kemp. Remember very early in the game, the pitch that went over Matt Kemp's head to the backstop? I don't know whether that was the retaliation by Greinke, but that's why Matt Kemp is very much involved in this. Jerry Hairston keeping him away. So Quentin has been hit at least 109 times in his career. It's virtually impossible, of course, to read minds, but again, Matt Kemp took a pitch right over the bill of the helmet. Now Greinke hits Quentin, and the benches erupt. Now let's see the decision. Greinke threw his glove down. If we look at the start of all this, as Quentin broke to come out to the mound. So now the players are awaiting the judgment from the umpires. And the first thing the umpires say, clear the field. Bullpen contingents, go back. Now we'll watch Greinke and Davey Lopes. Rick Honeycutt. We told you, we know that Greinke's wife and mother-in-law and father-in-law. Here's the replay, and it got him on the arm. Now Quentin walks, then breaks into a run. Greinke collides with him. A.J. Ellis grabs Quentin. In comes Sellers, and down the organ. After that, every man for himself. But of all the irate people on the field, and I can understand that. Look at Matt Kemp now charging in from center field. And Matt really got into a verbal joust with Bud Black as the bullpenners came in. And Matt kept hollering to Bud Black, don't touch me, don't touch me. Nancy Patterson will have to come out and see how Greinke is. And there's A.J. Ellis tackling Quentin, and then it's all lost. And Nancy will walk Greinke off the field. He's telling Andre Epier about talking to the umpire. And Matt is furious, and look out, here they go again. A.J. Ellis is being restrained. And Matt Kemp right in the middle, hollering at anybody who comes close. Dodgers trying Josh Beckett telling Matt to cool it. This is only the 9th game. There's 153 left. And each hot player out there has to be reminded of that. But I have to believe that pitch that went over Kemp's head on an 0-2 count. Then when Greinke hits Quentin, they're out. Now, Greinke, who kind of went and threw a shoulder block at Quentin, comes out. That's fertilizer, says Kemp over and over. That is fertilizer. And he's hollering, I believe, at the entire San Diego team. And Josh Beckett's trying to keep him away. And Matt wants more. And they're trying to restrain him. So it has to be that shot that went over his head. And he has personally taken Quentin charging Zach Greinke as a personal issue. Here you can see things were quiet, and then all of a sudden, more action. Jerry Hairston came out, and once again, the teams have to be restrained. Here's the pitch way back that got Quentin. We don't have the pitch immediately that went over Matt Kemp's head, but that's not to be forgotten. So Quentin, who is about 235 pounds. Greinke's about 200. So you can understand Quentin knocking Greinke down. And Matt cooling off a little bit with Andre Ethier down there with him. Now the umpires have to go through it all and make some very important decisions. Greinke's out of the game. I don't think he's been thrown out. I think he was physically hurt and taken out, which could be a blow to the Dodgers for sure. Boy, you have some highly talented and very expensive players getting involved. Now, let's take a look and see who's gone out. Matt's sitting on the bench. Mattingly tells him stay there, be quiet. The umpires are coming over as Rick Honeycutt calls the bullpen. Remember, the Padres come to Dodger Stadium Monday night. I mean, this is not like something they'll forget about for 2 or 3 months. Now Mattingly going out to find out about the jury's verdict. The plate umpire, Sam Holbrook, and Bud Black. Bud, as we mentioned at the start of the game, his dad was a hockey player for the Chicago Blackhawks, so he knows all about fights. So the bullpens are close to each other. Remember, the Dodger bullpen is atop the Padre bullpen. Padre pen is empty. Now we'll get the verdict, or at least we'll watch and see. They have already told Mattingly the verdict for his team. Now they will talk to Bud Black. Watch Black's reaction. So far, he's reacting as if that makes sense. Very calm. But, of course, played in the big leagues like Mattingly. And the Dodgers will have to get left-hander Chris Capuano to the mound and use the time to warm up. There's also a technicality. Was Greinke kicked out of the game, or was he injured? If he's an injured player, then Capuano has plenty of time. Meanwhile, Dodgers standing around, looking, gesturing over towards the San Diego dugout. Mattingly might be going out. Skip Schumacher is out there as well. So we would guess that Matt Kemp has been kicked out of the game. And the only big question now is Capuano replacing an injured player? Here's the pitch that we were talking about. Remember we said that Matt had a pitch go over his head. Marquis had him 0-2. And that's the pitch that everyone either forgot or purposely remembered. And now Matt, of course, was furious. Be a man. Now Mattingly is gesturing to his team, and apparently we take that as a sign that Capuano is technically replacing an injured pitcher. Therefore, he can take as much time as he wants. Mattingly will use the time to counsel the team, hey, look, don't let emotions get away. You're a team contending. You're playing a team that figures to be last or next to last, and don't lose it now. But they've already lost Matt Kemp, Zach Greinke. It looks as if all of the other starting players are in there with Skip Schumacher in center field. Meanwhile, DeNorfia and several of the other Padres looking on. We will wonder about Quentin. So they're going to be talking and counseling, but at least they're in each dugout. And we could use the time, since Capuano is going to take a while to warm up,